Hello and welcome to the lecture series on power electronics. In the previous lecture we saw how we can apply sinusoidal pulse width modulation scheme to control the output voltage of an inverter. In today's lecture we would be analyzing the waveform obtained from sinusoidal pulse width modulation scheme, and we will also try to obtain the harmonic spectrum for the output voltage waveform. So let us start. So initially we are considering the bipolar PWM sine PWM scheme. So in bipolar sine PWM scheme, the output voltage has got either the value VDC or minus VDC. I have shown the output voltage waveform for half of the cycle. Okay. So let us start. Let me define the ratio of the frequency of the carrier wave to the frequency of the reference wave as MF. Okay, and this is FCR by FM, and this has to always be greater than equal to 1. Okay, normally it is quite high. Then the fundamental voltage, fundamental of the output voltage for this waveform, this is square wave. This can be actually represented in Fourier format, which has got which can actually be this waveform can actually be represented as sum of infinity many sinusoids with increasing harmonics. So the fundamental of that will have an equation, the instantaneous modulation index into the peak voltage of the output voltage. Okay, so instantaneous modulation index is given by Vm sine omega t, omega mt. This is actually the angular frequency corresponding to the reference wave. I told you that the output voltage waveform has got a frequency corresponding to the reference wave. So that means the instantaneous modulation index is given by Vm sine omega mt by VCR, while the peak voltage of the output voltage is VDC. Okay, and we have again defined we have already defined the ratio of the what do you call the fundamental voltage by the value of the this is the voltage of the modulating signal, which is a sinusoidal wave in our case. Okay, and VCR is the magnitude of the carrier wave, which is a triangular wave. So the ratio of the two we have already defined, it is equal to M. So now this equation becomes M, and I have brought this VDC only this side. So M VDC sine omega mt. Okay, so that means this is equals to M times VDC by root 2. This would be the RMS value of the fundamental of the output voltage. Okay, M times VDC divided by root 2. So M VDC is the peak value of the fundamental of the output voltage, and when I divide it by root 2, this would give me the RMS value of the fundamental of the output voltage. So 1 upon root 2 is 0.707. So that means the peak value is 0.707 times M VDC, where M varies from 0 to 1. Okay. Right now we are dealing with under modulation case. Over modulation case comes when M become greater than 1. Okay. So with this in background, let us try to obtain few expressions, the first being the inverter gain. Okay, so the gain of the inverter is basically given by the fundamental output voltage divided by the DC input voltage. So the peak value of the fundamental output voltage is, or the RMS value of the fundamental output voltage is 0.707 M into VDC, and I have to divide it by the DC input voltage, which is VDC. So if I divide this by VDC, I will get 0.707 into M. Similarly, RMS value of the output voltage can be obtained. Okay, so RMS value of the output voltage, okay, it is basically given by V naught RMS is equal to, actually we know this RMS value of the output voltage. Actually we will try to find out what would be the sum of the RMS value of all the harmonics, square of all the harmonics, sum of the square of the RMS value of all the harmonics present in the output voltage. So this will help us to calculate the some terms like distortion factor and the harmonic factor and the total harmonic distortion. So I will tell you how this RMS value of the output voltage can be determined for this particular wave. So by general definition, RMS value of the output voltage is given by V naught RMS is V naught fundamental square, V naught second harmonic square, third harmonic square, and so on. So that means it is equal to fundamental RMS square minus oh sorry, this is actually plus, not minus, this is plus. So I am just writing it in short form using the symbol summation. So summation of VON, where n varies from 2 to infinity. Now if I square both sides and bring this fundamental term on the left side and writing the expression for the sum of the square of all the harmonics, okay, this square is here, again square is here also, okay. So this will be given by V naught RMS square minus V naught fundamental square square root, okay. Now V naught RMS square, I told you that we can easily find this out, okay, and this will come out to be VDC. So I will just show you in few minutes from now how this is equal to VDC. Let us assume right now that it is coming out to be VDC, and this V naught fundamental we have already calculated, it is MVDC by root 2. So I am putting this value here, MVDC by root 2 here, and squaring it finally and taking VDC outside. So I am getting the square of RMS of all the harmonics except the fundamental, okay, except the fundamental or the harmonics. So that will come out to be VDC times 2 minus M square by 2. This is basically a quite reduced expression, and this would be helpful in finding out the THD and the distortion factor, harmonic factor for the output voltage waveform in case of sine PWM scheme. So let me just quickly tell you how this VDC term is coming here. Okay, let me actually, if you will see that if I take any square wave, okay, so let me try to find out the RMS value of this square wave. Say this is plus VDC and this is minus VDC, then the RMS value can be given by, say this is 0 and this is T by 2 and this is T. So RMS value is actually, say this is the VO output voltage. So it is VO square, and it has to be integrated for the whole duration from 0 to T, and this d omega T, and finally average of this divided by the total time, which is actually T here, and finally taking out the square root. So this is the RMS value of this square wave, okay. So this is equal to, so now from 0 to T by 2, it is VDC. Similarly from T by 2 to T, it is minus VDC, sorry, okay, from 0 to t by 2 it is VDC, and from t by 2 to t it is again minus VDC, but square of that will give you VDC square. So that means this would come out to be okay, so this will give me VDC square into t plus VDC square into t divided by t. Okay, sorry, this is t by 2, this is t by 2, from 0 to t by 2 and then t by 2 to t, the duration is t by 2 in both the case, taking the square root of this. So this will give me, so t gets cancelled, and finally this is equal to VDC. So the RMS value of a square wave is given by VDC. Fine. So now it doesn't matter, say for example, if I am having the square wave of unequal width, say like this, and say at any time t1 it is moving from VDC to minus VDC. So if I do the integration, only this time changes, but the sum of the two would come out to be finally t. So t above and t in the denominator would get cancelled. So that means any waveform, it might have multiple notches from positive to negative, okay, but if it is plus VDC or minus VDC, for a complete cycle the RMS value has to come out to be VDC. So that is what we have, that is why we have taken V naught RMS square as VDC square for this waveform. I hope it is clear now. Okay. Now let us look into the other factors that are important, rather they are the performance factor or performance indices for the inverter output. So let us look into the various performance parameters like the distortion factor and the harmonic factor. Distortion factor is given by the fundamental voltage, the magnitude of the fundamental voltage and peak value of the fundamental or RMS value of the fundamental voltage divided by RMS value of the output voltage. So that is 0.707 M VDC by VDC. So that gives 0.707 M. So the maximum value of the distortion factor occurs when M is equals to 1. So this is equals to 0.707. Similarly, harmonic factor is related to distortion factor and given by root over 1 by df square minus 1. So df, this 0.707 is basically 1 upon root 2. So if I put root 2 there, then actually I will get m square by 2, 2 by m square and minus 1. So when m equals to 1, the harmonic factor is equals to 100%. Okay. Now let us see the various harmonics that are present in the output voltage waveform. So we have already defined the term MF, which is given by the ratio of the frequency of the carrier wave and the frequency of the modulating wave, which is a sinusoidal wave in our case, and the frequency is normally equal to the fundamental line frequency. So let us define, so the frequency of the nth harmonic, let me call it Fn, can be given by the linear combination of FCR and Fn. Okay. And if I divide this Fn, frequency of the nth harmonic, by the frequency of the modulating signal, that is the fundamental frequency. So let me call it n, which is actually the order of the nth harmonic. So Fn by Fm will be given by K1 times FCR by Fm plus K2. Okay, this is divided by Fm, and FCR by Fm is MF. Okay, so you could see that the order of the harmonic actually is given by K1 times MF plus K2. Now normally this n is kept an odd value. Okay, odd value. Why? because this would ensure that only odd harmonics are present in the output voltage waveform, and moreover there is a quarter wave symmetry for the output voltage waveform. So if that is the case, if n is odd, that means what are the possible values of k1 and k2 then? So if that is the case, if n is even, n is odd, then when we are taking k1 as even, then k2 has to be an odd value, and vice versa. If this is odd, and this has to be taken as even value. And let me write down the various values of the harmonic frequencies that are present in the output voltage waveform. So this is the frequency, the harmonic occurring at MF. Okay. Okay. So if I put k equals to k1 equals to 1, then k2 has to be even values. That means 0, 2, 4 and all those. So MF and MF plus minus 2 and MF plus minus 4. So these are the actually harmonics that would be present. Similarly, when I put k1 equals to 2, then k2 has to be 1, 3, 5 and so on. So these are again the combination of harmonics that are present. Similarly, if I put k1 equals to 3, then 3 MF and 3 MF plus minus 2, 3 MF plus minus 4 are the harmonics that are present. Similarly, 5 MF and so on. Sorry, 4 MF, 4 MF, 5 MF and so on. So you could see that basically the output harmonic frequency are occurring in a band. Okay. So let me try to draw that and see the spectrum of the harmonic in the output voltage waveform. So I have drawn the harmonic spectrum for a bipolar sinusoidal PWM output waveform. So you could see here that the harmonics are actually occurring in band. So this is the harmonic present at MF. Okay. So this basically is governed by the carrier frequency. Okay. So if you remember, MF is the carrier frequency divided by the modulating signal frequency, which is the fundamental frequency. Okay. So higher will the value of FCR. So this point will be away from the fundamental. I am only drawing the fundamental. I haven't. Sorry, I have only drawn the harmonics in the waveform. I haven't drawn the fundamental. Fundamental would be somewhere here and having higher magnitude. So the first band of harmonic would occur at MF. Okay. So MF, MF plus minus 2, MF plus minus 4. Okay. So say for example that say the fundamental frequency is 50 hertz and the carrier frequency is say 500 hertz, then MF would be 10. Okay. So 10th harmonic. So so that means these values will be, this will be 10, 12 and 8, and then 10 plus 4 is 14 and 10 minus 4 is 6, and similarly twice of MF will give you 20. So 21 and 19. Come here, 30, 32 and 28. Okay. There would be other harmonics according to this table. So they are basically occurring in bands. So if we select higher value of FCR, that means we are moving away from the fundamental, and we know that filtering higher order harmonics is quite easier compared to filtering lower order harmonics. So that means we have to keep the value of FCR as high as possible. That means taking the carrier frequency very high. But there is a drawback also in taking very high carrier frequency, because that would mean a very high switching of the various power semiconductor devices. So higher frequency of switching would now contribute to switching loss. So that means the efficiency of the converter will reduce. Okay. So on one hand, if we are increasing the FCR, we are getting a better harmonic profile, but at the cost of lower efficiency. Okay. So both has to be taken into account and suitable design has to be done. So this was the case for bipolar sinusoidal PWM technique. So same concept can be extended for unipolar sinusoidal PWM technique, and in unipolar sinusoidal PWM technique, the only difference lies in the band of harmonics that are present. So let me just show you what are the band of harmonics that are present in unipolar PWM sinusoidal scheme. So in unipolar sinusoidal PWM scheme, you could see that there are two carrier signals. Okay. There are two reference signals, two sinusoidal reference signals. So effectively the output voltage have harmonic starting from twice the MF value. So that means 2 MF plus 1, 4 MF plus 1 and 6 MF plus 1 if MF is taken as even number. Okay. Okay. So that's, I have just shown it here. So band would be occurring at 2 MF, 4 MF, 6 MF. So in this way, we could see that a unipolar sinusoidal PWM scheme has got harmonic at again twice the higher distance from the fundamental. That means the harmonics are occurring at larger values. Okay. So again, reducing the eliminating them requires lesser effort and lesser filter circuit. So that means unipolar sinusoidal PWM scheme is a better in terms of harmonic spectrum. Okay. So the output voltage waveform in case of unipolar sinusoidal PWM scheme has got a better voltage spectrum, and we require lesser filter to eliminate the otherwise harmonics that are present in the output voltage waveform. Okay. With this I stop here, and thank you for watching.